Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, I want to share with you a really cool and useful service for finding and analyzing tokens at an early stage. I won't drag things out, let's get started. Enjoy the video. The platform I want to introduce you to today is called gmgn. I think many of you might have already heard of it, but nonetheless, today in this video, we'll dive deeper into each section and see how this service can make our lives easier in finding and analyzing tokens. First, pay attention to the networks available here. Right now, the platform supports Solana, Tron, Base, Ethereum, and Blast networks. Let's start exploring the Ethereum network. To do that, we'll select the ETH network by simply clicking on it. Then we see a list of completely random tokens. We need to filter this list to find early stage tokens. We need to apply some filters. To do this, we go to New Pair, where we see all the new pairs. We can filter these pairs based on different criteria. For example, creation time. We can click less, more, meaning from largest to smallest, and vice versa. We can set the minimum and maximum market cap, number of holders, transaction volume, price, and so on. There are a lot of sections here. You can explore them yourself, but generally, you can spend some time setting up more detailed filters if needed. However, I usually use key filters to find early stage tokens. These are typically create, meaning I look for recently created pairs, and also liquidity and volume. Let's start with liquidity. Here we can select, for example, a liquidity greater than 10,000. There's initial, which is the amount of initial liquidity available in total. We'll set the current liquidity to be above 10,000. Next, it's important for me that the token is active enough. We can filter out inactive tokens based on the number of transactions, which we specify in the filters. For example, let's set it to more than 200 transactions. We can also set the volume. This is the total amount the token has been traded for, how much it's been bought and sold. Let's set the volume to at least 50,000. Essentially, our filters are ready. We just need to filter by creation time. Right now, we see a suitable token that fits our filters, gn.ai. It's at the top because it has the most recent creation time. So by setting these filters, we can see the newest tokens, which are likely interesting because they have good volume. Again, these are just the simplest filters you can use. You can spend more time and adjust almost every setting. But let's move on. The next section is trending. Basically, we see the same things here, but it features trending tokens that are seeing a lot of activity. And notice that there's another section here, honeypot filter. You can hide honeypots, but I don't recommend enabling this feature. It doesn't work perfectly, and often it might even filter out legitimate tokens. So I usually keep it off. Next, we have the discover section. Here, we see a lot of interesting sections. Smart trading, call trading, smart holding. The smart holding section might be particularly interesting. Here, we can see tokens held by a large number of smart wallets that are accumulating positions. Also, pay attention to the most profit call section. We see callers here that you can essentially follow and track. You can even go to a caller, copy their wallet address, and see which tokens they're buying. That's a pretty cool feature too. You can find good wallets here. Essentially, these are the three main sections I use. For example, I don't use holding and followers at all, but you can connect your wallet here and track your positions. You can also follow different callers and users who are also displayed here. But let's move on to the main point and the key functionality that can help us analyze tokens. To do this, let's just take any token, for example, Gen I, and we can see the chart for this token. Its market cap, which is 93,000 at the moment, and a lot of other interesting information. If we scroll down, we see the activity section. It has a lot of different sections. For example, the most interesting one I use is dev. This allows us to track the buy and sell activity of the team, the developers. And it's all displayed on the chart. This section likely identifies the developer wallets. Usually these are either the first block, the so-called sniper wallets, or it's directly the developer's wallet. There's another interesting section called insiders. Insiders are wallets that likely received tokens via airdrops, meaning they didn't buy them, they received them in a distribution. The key sections I use here are dev and insider. This way I can understand what the team is doing. Are they selling or not? There's also an interesting section called snipers. Here we see transactions from snipers, wallets that bought tokens at launch, and we can see what they're doing, if they're selling or not, and so on. Also, pay attention to the snipers banner above. It shows us the overall picture of the first holders. What are these wallets doing? There's also an interesting section called Fresh. These are new wallets that were created recently. Often developers buy back tokens using clean wallets, so-called fresh ones. This can also be a sign that the token will start rising if you see a lot of fresh wallets. In the call section, we see wallets and callers. For example, this wallet belongs to the influencer 0x Arul. So this influencer bought the token, and it's shown on the chart. Smart refers to smart traders. These are smart buyers. Usually, if you see a lot of smart purchases, it can be a good signal. But again, everything is relative. You need to develop an understanding of this platform, of certain situations, and then you'll understand how things work. The top section. You can see the top wallets that are holding and accumulating the token. The most interesting feature here is whales. These are the insiders, so to speak. You need to pay close attention to these wallets because they usually didn't buy the token. They got it for free. And most likely, these are developer wallets. If you see that the team is actively selling, that's a bad sign. But if the situation is like here, where they saw the token during the first correction, and you see that the team isn't selling and the insider is holding, it can be a good signal for growth. There's a lot of functionality here. You have to spend some time figuring it out, seeing how it works, and identifying patterns for yourself. This service is especially useful for working with the Solana network because everything happens very quickly in Solana. By the time you manually track wallets, the token might have already flown up or crashed. So, to quickly determine what the team is doing, who's selling, you can use gmgn. Notice that for Solana, you can select which tokens you want to see, tokens from the Pump platform, Moonshot, or Radium right away. So you check those boxes and you get information on new pairs. In this case, there's a token with an interesting name. Let's open it. I see that the token has gone up nicely, and we can try to assess what preceded this growth. For example, we can look at dev. Dev bought and didn't sell. We can look at insider. There was an insider purchase, and then there were gradual sales. The sales are generally not large, just small amounts. We can also look at the top wallets, what they did. Here they bought back heavily. There were a couple of sales and then another strong buyback. So we see further growth. We can also look at Sniper. Snipers also bought in and hardly sold anything, just a small amount. You can assess the fresh wallets. There aren't many wallets actually, and the picture is quite good. The distribution is decent. Wallets hold an adequate amount of supply, and the token is going up nicely. All these factors we've looked at show that the team hasn't really sold anything. That's why we see such a bullish chart. To trade safely, it's better to consider tokens during the first correction, a more significant one, say 60%, maybe even a 70% correction. If you see that during the correction, the team isn't selling, there are buys from fresh wallets, and the team keeps working, it's very likely that something interesting will happen. That's what happened here. And pay attention to the Solana network, for example, in the Discover section. You can see more information here, for example, about smart money, fresh wallets, snipers, and so on. So you can get additional information about tokens. There's also a meme section. Here you can choose a platform, for example, Pump, Moonshot, new creations. Here we see new creations, tokens that are about to be listed on Radium or have already been listed and are trading. By clicking the Pump Alert section, you can also go to the Telegram bot that sends signals, so to speak, on new tokens. Overall, I've explained the main sections, the key things to pay attention to. But to learn more about the platform, I recommend you explore the Academy section. It's down here. Click on it and you'll get to a full tutorial on the platform. There, you can read a full description of each section. It's also worth noting that the platform is still quite raw, but it has a lot of functionality that sets it apart from its main competitors. So I recommend that you explore this service more thoroughly. Hopefully, you'll find some patterns, and this service will make your work easier, faster, and you'll be able to make more money in less time. Well, I hope the video was helpful. Like it and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my Telegram channel, where I also share information about DeFi, review different tokens, and talk about similar services much faster than I do on YouTube.